Full spoilers ahead for Star Wars Ahsoka. Ahsoka Episode 3 is out, so here's my video breakdown of the episode, and at the end I'll share my thoughts. Episode 3, titled Time to Fly, opens on Ahsoka's ship where Sabine and Huyang are training, and apparently Huyang can not only teach people how to make a lightsaber, he can also teach people how to wield a lightsaber, and he's also going all General Grievous with his 4 training sabers or whatever they are. And Sabine didn't do great. So Ahsoka then starts training her and makes Sabine wear a blast shield so that she can't see, just like Luke in A New Hope. Sabine then really starts to not do good, but then at one point she starts to sorta get it, but then fails, because she gets frustrated. Ahsoka then tells her, anger and frustration are quick to give power, but they also unbalance you, which is true. You're not as clear-minded and can't focus as well when you're angry. We then do the intro and then cut to an amazing shot of the New Republic fleet orbiting Coruscant. Hera goes to speak with the New Republic Council to try to warn them about Thrawn. Most obviously, we see Mon Mothma as the Chancellor, which is cool. She was also Chancellor in Legends, so that's good to see. And we also see Senator Xiono, who's a perfect example of why the New Republic ultimately failed. Thanks to people like him, they ignored the Imperial remnants long enough so that they were able to reorganize into the First Order and destroy them. Which sorta reflects on real life, unfortunately. He insists that Hera is just trying to get resources so she can just go look for Ezra. He says that Thrawn is dead and Ezra is too. Hera asks him if he was in the war, which obviously he says that he wasn't. People like him just sat back and watched the war play out. And when the rebels were winning, they switched over to their side. The Republic thinks that the Empire is just a bunch of fractured warlords with no central command, which in reality, it's not. Hera tries to tell them that if Thrawn returns, it will unify the Imperial remnants. They ultimately reject her proposal, and that's that. After the meeting, we then see Jacen Syndulla. It's been over 5 years since we've seen him. And Chopper is also there, but the actual physical model of him wasn't as good. Yes, in the last episode he was CGI, so he was able to move around like he could in Rebels. But in live action, he was just all stiff. But it's still cool that they made a real robot. Back on Ahsoka's ship, she and Sabine are talking about the Force. Sabine is all upset that the training is taking forever, and she wants to know the stuff so that they can go after the Dark Jedi. Ahsoka explains that the Force resides in all living things, as we already know from Yoda. But Ahsoka then implies that anyone could theoretically become Force sensitive. Okay, so I understand that the Force is in every living thing in the galaxy, and it seems that this is Dave Filoni's view on the Force. But at least in my opinion, my understanding was that not just anyone could become Force sensitive. Talent is a factor, as Ahsoka said, but I still don't really want Sabine to be Force sensitive because, in my opinion, that would take the strengths that she had as a person and just replace them with superpowers. I think that there should be more Star Wars stories about people who don't have the Force, just normal people trying to fight the Empire. It's just like Andor, which is one of my favorite shows. There's no Jedi to save the day, it's just average people doing what they can to fight oppression. Anyway, Sabine tries to use the Force to lift a cup. It doesn't work. They come out of hyperspace over Cetos, where they trace the stolen hyperdrive. Huyang's scans show a massive ship orbiting the planet, which is the Eye of Sion. They are intercepted by a squadron of starfighters led by Shin and Marok. There's then a pretty cool space battle. They are able to destroy half of the enemy ships, but as they approach the Eye of Sion, the fighters pull off and the giant hyperspace ring opens fire. Huyang is just able to complete his scans before the ship is hit. As the fighters start closing in, Sabine starts to fix the ship and Ahsoka goes outside in space. The next scene is something that would have been in the Clone Wars, so that's a cool callback. Sabine is able to fix the ship and Ahsoka gets in and they start heading towards the planet. As they're trying to lose the remaining fighters, they run into a pod of Purrgil, which we've not seen since The Mandalorian Season 3. They use the Purrgil to their advantage and fly through them and lose Shin and Marok. They then set the ship down because it has been badly damaged, and they lose the fighters. They take a look at Huyang's scans and find out that the ship is not yet complete, and all it needs is to install the final hyperdrive. We cut to Baylan as he sends his troops into the Force to hunt down the Jedi. So I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they'll stow away on the ship, or they'll follow the Purrgil. Either way, Elsbeth and the Dark Jedi are going to find Thrawn. So we'll just have to see what happens in the next episode. So that's the episode. A bit of a shorter one, only coming in at over 30 minutes, but still not bad. There were things that I liked and things that I didn't. I thought the part with the New Republic Council and Senator Ziono denying what Hera was saying was a good bad scene, if you know what I mean. As in the terms of the New Republic ignoring the obvious Imperial threat, which leads to their downfall. I did think that the pacing was a little slow, but it didn't ruin it for me. Now, I know that some people are not happy with this episode, mainly, I think, that the stuff surrounding the Force and how potentially anyone could be a Jedi. I agree with that, but we'll just have to wait and see where that goes. Another thing I did like was the blaster sound effects for the starfighters and how the movements were a lot like a World War II air battle. It's so cool when they do stuff like that, going back to the stuff that inspired George Lucas. But next episode, there should be some lightsaber duels and some great action. Anyway, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Alright, goodbye.